What if everything you've been chasing in life, success, love, happiness, has been slipping through your fingers because you're holding on too tightly? Picture this. You're gripping a rope so hard your hands burn, desperate to pull yourself toward a goal, only to realize the harder you pull, the further it seems to slip away. Sound familiar? Today, we're diving into a mindset shift so powerful it could transform the way you approach everything: your career, your relationships, your inner peace. Stick with me until the end, and I promise you'll walk away with a perspective that could change your life forever. Let's get into it. Before we dive in, do me a quick favor. Hit that subscribe button. It takes 1 second, but it helps us bring this life-changing content to more people who need it. Alright, let's go. Life has a funny way of teaching us lessons, doesn't it? We plan every detail, our schedules, our goals, even how we want others to respond to us, thinking that if we just try harder, push a little more, we can force everything to fall perfectly into place. But here's the truth. The more we try to control every tiny aspect of our lives, the more frustrated, exhausted, and downright miserable we become. Why? Because life doesn't bend to our will, no matter how hard we try. Instead, it flows like a river, and the tighter we grip, the more we drown in our own expectations. Imagine you're standing on the edge of that river, trying to dictate its current. You're shouting at the water, demanding it flow exactly where you want. Sounds exhausting, right? Now, what if you stepped back, trusted the river's natural path, and let it guide you instead? That's the secret the ancient Stoics mastered centuries ago, and it's the key to unlocking a life of calm, confidence, and effortless flow. This isn't about giving up, it's about discovering where your true power lies. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He understood that fighting against things beyond our control, like other people's opinions or unexpected setbacks, only leads to suffering. The real battle is always within. It's about training your mind to focus on what you can shape: your thoughts, your actions, your discipline, and letting go of the rest. That's the mindset we're exploring today. How to stop forcing life to fit your mold and start thriving by embracing what you can actually control. Let's paint a picture. Think about an artist hunched over a canvas, obsessing over every brushstroke. They're paralyzed by the fear that the painting won't be perfect, that critics will tear it apart. Their hands shake, their creativity stalls, and the joy of painting vanishes. Now, imagine that same artist letting go of the outcome. They focus on the feel of the brush in their hand, the vibrant colors blending on the canvas, the rhythm of the moment. Suddenly, they're in a flow state, fully immersed, creating without effort. And here's the kicker. That's when their best work emerges. Why? Because they stopped trying to control the uncontrollable and trusted the process instead. This principle applies to every corner of your life. In your career, how often do you stress about landing that promotion or nailing that project, tying your worth to the outcome? In relationships, have you ever caught yourself overanalyzing every text, trying to force someone to feel a certain way? We've all been there, clinging to a specific result, only to feel anxious and drained when things don't go as planned. But what if you shifted your focus? What if you poured your energy into showing up as your best self, prepared, authentic, and present, and let the results unfold naturally? Let's talk relationships for a second, because this is where so many of us get stuck. Picture someone on a first date, trying desperately to impress. They're overthinking every word, forcing jokes that don't land, and worrying about whether the other person likes them. The vibe? Stiff, awkward, and anything but genuine. Now contrast that with someone who's relaxed, fully present, and just enjoying the conversation. They're not obsessing over whether this date leads to a second one, they're simply being themselves. Which person do you think leaves a lasting impression? The one who's authentic and at ease, right? That's the power of letting go. The Stoics had a name for this approach: amor fati, or love of fate. It's about embracing what happens, not because you're passive, but because you trust that life's challenges and surprises are part of the journey. Epictetus, another Stoic philosopher, put it beautifully. Do not seek for things to happen the way you want them to, rather, wish that what happens happens as it should, and you will be happy. In other words, stop tying your happiness to a specific outcome. Focus on what you can control, your effort, your attitude, your integrity, and let the universe handle the rest. Let's break this down with a real-world example. Say you're working toward a big goal. Like starting a business. You've got a detailed plan, the perfect logo, the ideal client, the exact timeline for success. But then, a supplier falls through, or a marketing campaign flops. If you're fixated on everything going perfectly, you'll spiral into stress and self-doubt. But what if you shift your perspective? What if you see that setback as a chance to pivot, to learn, to grow? Instead of obsessing over the outcome, you focus on what you can control, researching new suppliers, tweaking your strategy, showing up every day with grit and creativity. That's where the magic happens. This mindset isn't just about staying calm, it's about unlocking your potential. When you stop wasting energy on things you can't control, you free up mental space to be more creative, more resilient, more you. Think about it. How much of your stress comes from trying to predict the future or change the past? What if you let go of that burden and focused on the present moment? The Stoics believed that true confidence comes from knowing you've done your best with what's in your hands and trusting that the rest will fall into place. Now, let's get practical. How do you actually do this? First, identify what's in your control. Your actions, your words, your effort. These are yours to shape. External outcomes, like whether someone likes you or whether a project succeeds, are not. Next, practice detachment. This doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop tying your self-worth to things outside your control. Finally, embrace the process. Find joy in the work itself. Whether it's writing, creating, or connecting with others, when you focus on the journey, the destination starts to take care of itself. Let's circle back to that river analogy. Life is unpredictable, like a current that shifts without warning. You can fight it, exhaust yourself, and still end up somewhere unexpected. Or you can learn to flow with it, steering where you can and trusting the current to carry you where you need to go. That's what the Stoics taught. And it's a lesson that's just as relevant today as it was 2,000 years ago. So, here's my challenge to you. The next time you feel yourself stressing, clinging, or overthinking, pause. Ask yourself, what can I control right now? Focus on that, and let the rest go. It's not easy, but it's liberating. And if you practice this mindset, you'll start to notice something incredible. Life becomes lighter. Opportunities open up. And you move through the world with a sense of calm and purpose. Last time, we talked about letting go, releasing that tight grip on outcomes to find true confidence and flow. It's about trusting life's river to carry you where you need to go. Now, let's dive deeper into how this mindset can transform your relationships, your success, and the way you face life's challenges. Imagine a life where you're not weighed down by stress or fear, where you move through the world with calm and clarity. Ready to learn how? Let's jump in. Picture this. You're at a party, and someone walks in radiating neediness. Their energy feels forced, like they're trying too hard to win everyone over. You can almost feel their desperation to be liked. And what happens? It pushes people away. Now, contrast that with someone who's at ease, comfortable in their own skin, not chasing approval. They're just themselves. Their confidence is magnetic, drawing others in effortlessly. Why? Because they're not ruled by fear. They trust that whatever happens, whether a conversation sparks or fizzles, it's all part of the journey. That's the power of detachment. And it's a game changer in relationships. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It's about letting go of the need for things to go exactly your way. When you release that pressure, you create space for genuine connections to bloom. Think about it. Have you ever tried to force a friendship or a romance, only to feel it slip further away? The harder you push, the more it backfires. But when you focus on being authentic, showing up fully present without obsessing over the outcome, people are naturally drawn to you. It's like planting a seed and trusting it will grow, rather than digging it up every day to check its progress. Now, let's shift gears to success. So many of us treat life like a rigid checklist. Graduate by 22, land a dream job by 25, get married by 30, hit a certain income by 35. Sound familiar? We set these milestones, convinced they define our worth. But when life doesn't follow the script, when a job falls through or a goal takes longer than planned, we spiral into self-doubt. We think, I've failed. But here's the truth. Success isn't a straight line. It's a winding path full of twists, setbacks, and unexpected opportunities. If you're so fixated on one specific outcome, you might miss a better one waiting just around the corner. Close your eyes for a second and ask yourself, what am I holding onto too tightly? Is it a job you're desperate to land? A relationship you're trying to force? A timeline you're racing against? Now, imagine loosening that grip, not giving up, but trusting that whatever happens, you'll be okay. That's detachment in action. It's about finding peace in the present moment, knowing that life's surprises often lead to something better than you could have planned. So, how do you actually practice this? First, remind yourself every day, I can't control outcomes, but I can control my effort, my discipline, and my mindset. Write it down, stick it on your mirror, make it your mantra. Second, reframe your thinking. Instead of saying, I need this promotion to be happy, try, I trust that whatever happens will teach me and help me grow. This shift takes practice, but it's like flipping a switch in your brain. Suddenly, setbacks aren't failures, they're lessons. Finally, stay present. The more you focus on the now, this moment, this task, this conversation, the less power the future has to stress you out. Life is unpredictable, isn't it? Some days, everything flows like a perfect melody. Others, it feels like the universe is throwing every obstacle your way. The difference between people who crumble under pressure and those who thrive isn't luck, it's mindset. The Stoics nailed this centuries ago, and their wisdom still holds. They taught that you can't control the world around you, the economy, other people's actions, random curveballs, but you can control how you respond. That's where your real power lies. Psychologist William James, often called the father of modern psychology, said it best. The greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another. You don't have to believe every negative thought that pops into your head. That voice saying, I'm not good enough, or I'll never figure this out. You can challenge it, you can step back, take a breath, and choose a different perspective. Imagine you're at work, and everything's going wrong. You mess up a project. Your boss is on your case, and you feel like you're drowning. One thought might be, I'm failing at this, I'll never get it right. That's a fixed mindset, and it traps you in a cycle of self-doubt. But what if you flipped the script? What if you told yourself, every mistake is teaching me something. This pressure is making me stronger. That's a growth mindset, and it turns challenges into opportunities. The Stoics saw every struggle as a chance to practice virtue, patience, resilience, wisdom. Seneca, one of their greatest thinkers, said, difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body. Think of your mind like a muscle. Every challenge is a weight you lift, building strength and resilience. The tougher the struggle, the stronger you become. Let's make this real. Picture yourself stuck in traffic, late for an important meeting. Your instinct might be to grip the wheel, curse the universe, and let stress take over. But what if you took a deep breath and thought, this is out of my control, but I can stay calm. I'll use this time to clear my mind. Suddenly, that frustrating moment becomes a chance to practice patience. That's the Stoic way, turning obstacles into opportunities to grow. Mastering your mindset isn't a one-and-done deal. It's a daily practice. Like tending a garden, your thoughts are the seeds you plant. If you let fear, doubt, or negativity take root, they'll choke out your peace. But if you nurture thoughts of strength, clarity, and resilience, that's what will flourish. Start small. Pay attention to your inner dialogue. Are you feeding yourself thoughts of, I can't do this, or I'm not enough? Catch those thoughts, challenge them, and replace them with something empowering. Over time, this rewires your brain to see possibilities where you once saw problems. Another way to strengthen your mindset? Practice gratitude. When life feels heavy, take a moment to focus on what's going right. Maybe it's a supportive friend, a lesson you've learned, or even the fact that you're still pushing forward. Gratitude grounds you in the present and reminds you that you're stronger than you think. And here's a pro tip. Try journaling. Every night, write down one challenge you faced and how you grew from it. It's like a workout log for your mind, tracking your progress and building confidence. The Stoics believed that life's challenges are here to shape us, not break us. Every setback, every frustration, every moment that tests your patience, It's all training you to be wiser, stronger, more resilient. So, the next time life throws you a curveball, don't fight it, embrace it. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow? That's the mindset that sets you free. We've been talking about mastering your mindset, about letting go of the need to control outcomes and finding strength in what you can control. It's like learning to flow with life's current instead of fighting it. Now, let's take it a step further and explore how staying present and patient can transform the way you chase your dreams. Imagine a life where stress doesn't own you, where you trust the process and move with calm confidence. Sound good? Let's dive in. So much of our stress comes from being anywhere but here. We're replaying past mistakes in our heads or worrying about a future that hasn't even arrived. But what if you could anchor yourself in this moment? Right now? The truth is, the only thing you can ever control is what's happening in the present. The next time you feel overwhelmed, try this. Pause and ask yourself, what can I do right now to move forward? That simple question is like a lifeline, pulling you out of panic and back to what matters. It's not about solving everything, it's about taking one clear, purposeful step. Patience, though, that's a tough one. Picture yourself working towards something big, a dream job, a creative project, a meaningful relationship. You've put in the hours, done everything right, but the results? They're nowhere in sight. It's frustrating, isn't it? The world screams at us that success should come fast. Social media shows us highlight reels of instant wins, making us feel like we're failing if we're not there yet. But life doesn't work on our timeline. It has its own rhythm, like a heartbeat, steady and unhurried. Trying to rush it is like tugging on a seedling to make it grow faster. You just end up with broken roots. The Stoics got this. Epictetus said, "No great thing is created suddenly." Think about that for a second. Anything worth having, wisdom, strength, success, takes time to build. It's like sculpting a masterpiece from stone. Each chip of the chisel feels small, insignificant even, but over time, those tiny efforts shape something extraordinary. When you try to force life to deliver before it's ready, you set yourself up for disappointment. But when you trust the process, you free yourself from the weight of unnecessary stress. Let's paint a picture. Imagine a young artist, pouring their soul into their work. They dream of galleries showcasing their art, of critics praising their name. But right now, they're in a tiny studio, painting day after day with no recognition in sight. They have a choice. They can let frustration take over, doubt their talent, and give up, or they can trust that every brushstroke, every late night, is preparing them for something greater. The ones who keep going, who believe in the process even when the world is silent, are the ones who eventually find themselves exactly where they're meant to be. Have you ever felt like that artist, wondering if your hard work will ever pay off? We live in a world obsessed with instant gratification, fast food, fast news, fast success. We've been conditioned to think that if something takes time, it's not worth waiting for. But the most meaningful things in life, deep relationships, personal growth, mastering a skill, require patience. Socrates once said, "To do is to be." It's a reminder that growth happens in the doing, not just in the achieving. When you're fixated on when something will happen, you miss the beauty of who you're becoming along the way. Every step, every effort, is shaping you into a stronger, wiser version of yourself. So, how do you stay patient when it feels like nothing's happening? The Stoics would tell you to focus on what's in your control. You can't control when that job offer comes, when love finds you, or when success arrives, but you can control your actions. You can show up every day, put in the work, and keep growing as a person. Most importantly, you can trust that if something is meant for you, it will come, not a second too early or too late. It's like planting a seed and watering it faithfully, knowing the harvest will come when the time is right. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, wrote, "Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together." Instead of fighting life's timing, embrace it. What if the delay you're facing is actually preparing you? Maybe you're not getting that promotion because you're still learning the skills to handle it. Maybe that relationship hasn't worked out because you're still growing into the person who's ready for it. Trusting life's timing doesn't mean sitting back. It means moving forward with faith that every step has a purpose. Have you ever noticed how chasing something desperately makes it slip further away? a job, a relationship, a goal. The more frantic you get, the more elusive it becomes. It's almost like the universe senses that needy energy and pulls back. But when you act with purpose, with calm confidence, things start to align. There's a difference between chasing and attracting. Chasing comes from fear. Fear of missing out. Fear of failure. Fear of not being enough. Attracting comes from clarity and strength. From knowing who you are and what you stand for. Epictetus put it perfectly. First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Before you act, get clear on your why. Are you applying for that job because it aligns with your values? Or because you're scared of falling behind? Are you pursuing that relationship because it feels right? Or because you're afraid of being alone? When your actions come from a place of purpose, they're grounded, deliberate, and powerful. Let's break it down with an example. Imagine two people job hunting. The first is desperate, firing off applications to every posting they see. Even jobs they don't want. Every rejection sends them into a tailspin. Their energy scattered and anxious. The second person is different. They know their strengths, take time to craft thoughtful applications, and prepare without obsessing over the outcome. They trust that the right opportunity will come. Whose energy do you think employers respond to? The one who's calm, focused, and confident. That's the power of acting with purpose instead of panic. Here's how you can start today. First, practice presence. When you catch yourself worrying about the future, bring yourself back to now. Focus on one task, one conversation, one moment at a time. Second, cultivate patience. Remind yourself that great things take time, and every effort you make is building something lasting. Finally, trust the process. Write down this affirmation. I trust that everything is unfolding as it should. Say it daily, and watch how it shifts your perspective. Life is like a river, and patience is learning to flow with it. You can't control the current, but you can steer your boat with intention. Every challenge, every delay, is a chance to grow stronger, wiser, more ready for what's coming. So, the next time you feel stuck, take a deep breath and ask, what can I do right now? That's where your power lies. We've been diving into the art of patience and presence, learning to trust life's timing instead of forcing it. It's about acting with intention, not desperation, and letting the right opportunities find you. Now, let's explore how this shift, from chasing to attracting, can bring clarity to your decisions, relationships, and goals. Imagine moving through life with a sense of calm purpose, where every step feels deliberate and aligned. Ready to make that your reality? Let's get into it. Think about those two job hunters we mentioned. One's frantic, applying to every job out of fear. Their energy scattered like leaves in a storm. The other? Calm, strategic, confident. They know their worth and trust the process. Who do you think leaves a lasting impression? The one who moves with purpose, not panic. This principle doesn't just apply to job searches, it's a blueprint for every part of life. From relationships to personal growth. When you act out of desperation, driven by fear of failure or loneliness, you push away the very things you want. But when you approach life with self-respect and clarity, you attract healthier, more fulfilling outcomes. Take relationships. Have you ever been in one where you felt desperate to make it work? Maybe you were afraid of being alone or craving validation. That kind of energy, needy, forced, often leads to disappointment. It's like trying to hold water in your hands. The tighter you squeeze, the more it slips away. Now, imagine approaching a relationship with confidence. Grounded in who you are. You're not grasping for approval, you're simply being yourself. Open to connection but not dependent on it. That's when you attract people who value you for you. Creating bonds that are authentic and lasting. People are drawn to those who are secure, not those chasing attention. Aristotle had a term for this way of living, eudaimonia, a state of flourishing that comes from aligning your actions with your values. True happiness, he said, isn't about chasing external rewards, money, status, or applause. It's about living with purpose, acting with wisdom and integrity, and letting the outcomes unfold naturally. When you move with intention, you make better decisions, you stop wasting energy on things that don't align with your true goals, and you start building a life that feels meaningful. Picture a chess game. A beginner makes impulsive moves, reacting to every threat with fear. their mind clouded by uncertainty. An expert, though, they play with patience, seeing the board as a whole, making deliberate choices that set them up for victory. Life is like that chessboard. If you're constantly reacting, scrambling to control outcomes or avoid failure, you create chaos. But when you slow down, act with clarity, and trust the process, every move brings you closer to the life you want. Isn't it freeing to think you don't have to force every piece into place? So, how do you shift from desperation to purpose? First, get clear on your why. Before you act, ask yourself, am I doing this because it aligns with my values? Or because I'm afraid of missing out? That question is like a compass, guiding you toward choices that feel right. Second, slow down. Desperation rushes. Purpose takes its time. Instead of making snap decisions out of fear, give yourself space to reflect. Maybe it's taking a deep breath before responding to a tricky email or sleeping on a big decision. That pause helps you choose wisely. Finally, trust yourself. You don't need to force opportunities. They'll come when your actions are aligned with your purpose. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, hit the nail on the head. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. So much of our desperation comes from what ifs. What if I fail? What if I'm not enough? But here's the truth. You are stronger than you think. You don't need to scramble for what's meant for you. When you act with confidence, grounded in your values, life starts to align in your favor. It's like the universe senses your clarity and says, all right, let's make this work. Have you ever felt exhausted from trying to control everything? You plan every detail, push people to act a certain way, strategize every outcome, only to feel more stressed and less in control. It's like gripping a rope so tightly your hands burn. But the harder you hold on, the more it slips away. Here's the paradox. The moment you let go, life starts to flow. The Stoics understood this deeply. Epictetus said, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. True freedom isn't about controlling the world around you. It's about releasing the need to. Think about relationships again. Have you ever tried to change someone? Maybe you wanted a friend, partner, or family member to be more supportive, more aligned with your expectations. But no matter how much you pushed, they stayed the same. Why? Because people aren't ours to control. We can communicate, set boundaries, choose who we let into our lives. But we can't force change. When you let go of that need, you free yourself from frustration. Relationships become lighter, more natural, because you're not trying to bend them to your will. The same goes for success. We're told that pushing harder will get us to our goals faster. But there's a difference between effort and control. Effort is showing up, putting in the work, staying disciplined. Control is obsessing over every detail, stressing about timing, fearing failure. That obsession creates resistance, like swimming against a current. Seneca said, fate leads the willing and drags along the reluctant. When you fight life's natural flow, you create struggle. But when you work hard while trusting the process, you move with ease. Let's make it real. Imagine you're working toward a big goal, a new business, a creative project, a personal milestone. You're doing everything right, but the results aren't coming as fast as you'd like. The desperate part of you wants to push harder, micromanage every step, panic over delays. But the purposeful part of you? It says, keep showing up, trust the timing. You're exactly where you need to be. That's the mindset that keeps you grounded, focused, and moving forward without burning out. Here's how to put this into practice. Start by checking your energy. Are you acting out of fear or clarity? If it's fear, pause and recenter. Next, focus on what you can control, your thoughts, your actions, your responses. Let go of the rest, like releasing a balloon into the sky. Finally, align your actions with your values. Every day, ask yourself, am I moving toward the person I want to be? When you live this way, opportunities don't just come, they're drawn to you. Life is unpredictable, but you don't need to control it to thrive. By acting with purpose, trusting yourself, and letting go of what's not yours to manage, you create space for the right things to unfold. So, take a deep breath and ask, what's one thing I can let go of today? That small shift could be the start of something big. We've been exploring how to move with purpose, letting go of the desperate need to control outcomes and instead aligning our actions with our values. It's like trading chaos for calm, fear for confidence. Now, let's dive into how trusting yourself and embracing an abundance mindset can transform your reality. Imagine walking into every situation knowing you're enough, radiating a quiet strength that draws opportunities to you. Ready to make that shift? Let's jump in. Picture yourself prepping for a big interview. You've done the work, researched the company, practiced your answers, polished your resume. You're ready. But then, the what ifs creep in. What if they ask something you can't answer? What if you stumble? What if you don't get the job? Suddenly, your confidence fades, replaced by a knot of anxiety in your chest. You walk into the room tense, second-guessing every word, and that nervous energy undermines your performance. Sound familiar? That's what happens when you try to control the uncontrollable. But imagine a different scenario. You take a deep breath, remind yourself you've prepared, and let go of the outcome. You walk in relaxed, present, fully yourself. That's when you shine. That's when you're more likely to nail it. Why? Because you trusted your preparation and let the rest unfold. The Stoics had a name for this: the dichotomy of control. They believed life splits into two categories: things you can influence and things you can't. Your effort, your attitude, your preparation, those are in your power. The interviewer's decision, the exact questions they ask, those are not. Wasting energy on what's out of your hands only fuels frustration. Instead, focus on what you can do, and let the rest go. It's like planting a garden. You can sow the seeds, water them, and tend the soil, but you can't force the sun to shine. Trust the process, and the growth will come. So, how do you start letting go? First, recognize what's in your control. Your thoughts, your actions, your responses, those are yours to shape. The opinions of others, the twists of fate, let them be. Second, practice acceptance. Life won't always follow your script, but that doesn't mean it's going wrong. Sometimes, a detour leads to a destination better than you imagined. Finally, build trust, not just in life's timing, but in yourself. You are stronger than you think, capable of handling whatever comes, even if it's not what you expected. When you trust yourself, you step into every moment with a quiet confidence that changes everything. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to attract success, opportunities, even happiness, like a magnet? It's not luck or some secret advantage, it's their mindset. The way they think, carry themselves, and see the world creates a reality where abundance flows naturally. Compare that to someone who's always focused on what they lack. They're constantly chasing, comparing, feeling like they're falling behind. No matter how hard they work, they struggle. The difference? Energy. The Stoics understood this long before modern psychology caught up. Epictetus said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." True abundance isn't about piling up achievements or chasing more. It's about realizing you already have everything you need to live a fulfilled life. Imagine two people walking into a room. One is consumed by scarcity, fixated on what they don't have. They compare themselves to others, convinced success is out of reach. Their energy is heavy, their words tinged with doubt, and opportunities seem to slip past them. The other person walks in radiating abundance. They believe they have enough skills, enough knowledge, enough potential. They engage confidently, build connections naturally, and walk away with new possibilities. The only difference? One lives in lack, the other in abundance. Which one are you right now? This mindset applies to everything: relationships, happiness, even time. If you believe there's never enough love, never enough time, never enough good people, your mind will find proof of that scarcity. But shift your focus, and something incredible happens. You start seeing kindness in others, possibilities in every moment, blessings already in your life. Psychologist William James called this the greatest discovery of his generation. A human being can alter his life by altering his attitudes. What you focus on grows. If you dwell on lack, lack expands. If you practice gratitude, confidence, and trust, abundance flourishes. Let's make this real with an example. Picture two musicians chasing their dreams. The first is gripped by a scarcity mindset. They worry there aren't enough opportunities, that the industry is too competitive, that they'll never break through. Every rejection feels like a confirmation of their fears. So they play it safe, hesitate to take risks, and miss out on potential breakthroughs. The second musician? They believe in abundance. They see every rejection as a redirection, every challenge as a chance to grow. They take bold risks, connect with others, and keep creating, trusting that their moment will come. They don't succeed because they're luckier, they succeed because they embody abundance, not fear. So, how do you start living in abundance? First, practice gratitude daily. Take a moment to write down 3 things you're thankful for. It could be a supportive friend, a lesson learned, or a small win. This rewires your brain to see what's already good in your life. Second, shift your self-talk. Instead of, I'm not enough, try, I'm growing, and I'm capable. Third, act with confidence, not desperation. Before making a decision, ask, am I acting out of fear or faith in myself? When you choose faith, you open the door to possibilities you never imagined. Life is like a canvas, and your mindset is the brush. Paint with fear, and you create a picture of scarcity. Paint with trust and gratitude, and you create a masterpiece of abundance. You don't need to control every stroke, just focus on the ones in your hand. And trust the bigger picture will come together. We've been talking about embracing an abundance mindset, shifting from scarcity to gratitude, and trusting that you're enough. It's like stepping into a dance with life, moving with confidence instead of forcing the steps. Now, let's explore how to take aligned action, working hard but letting go of the need to control every outcome. Imagine a life where you act with purpose, trust the process, and watch things fall into place naturally. Ready to make that your reality? Let's dive in. Have you ever found yourself obsessing over a goal, pushing harder and harder, only to feel like you're running in circles? You follow every step, check every box, but the results still don't come as fast as you'd like. It's frustrating, isn't it? We're taught that success is all about grinding, never stopping, never letting go. But here's the secret the Stoics knew. There's a difference between desperate action and aligned action. Sometimes, the key to progress isn't pushing harder, it's knowing when to act and when to step back. Trusting life's natural rhythm. Seneca said it best. Effort and patience will achieve more than force and anxiety. In a world that glorifies the hustle, we're conditioned to believe that relentless effort is the only path to success. But blind effort, driven by panic, often creates resistance. It's like trying to untie a knot. The harder you yank, the tighter it gets. Instead, imagine loosening your grip, working with intention, and letting things unfold. That's where the magic happens. Aligned action is about doing your part, preparing, learning, showing up, while trusting that the results will come when the time is right. Picture trying to fall asleep. You can't force yourself to drift off, can you? The more you try, the more restless you become, tossing and turning, staring at the clock. But the moment you relax, breathe deeply, and let go, sleep comes naturally. Life works the same way. Whether it's success, relationships, or personal growth, you have to take action. But you also have to trust the process. Forcing things creates tension, flowing with them creates ease. Think of a farmer planting seeds. They prepare the soil, sow the seeds, water them, and ensure they get sunlight. But after that, they don't dig up the ground every day, demanding the crops grow faster. They trust that, in time, the harvest will come. If they tried to rush it, they'd only ruin what they planted. Your goals are like those seeds. You do the work, study, practice, connect, but then you let go, knowing that growth happens on its own timeline. Isn't it freeing to think you don't have to control every detail? This applies everywhere, especially in relationships. Have you ever met someone who tries too hard? They're overly eager, texting constantly, seeking reassurance at every turn. Their energy feels heavy, almost desperate, and it pushes people away. Now, contrast that with someone who's calm and confident. They show interest but give space. Engage authentically without needing validation. That person? They're magnetic. They attract others because they're not forcing the connection, they're letting it flow. When you take aligned action and release attachment, you create space for relationships to grow naturally. The same goes for your career. Maybe you've been hustling, chasing every opportunity, but nothing seems to move forward. It's exhausting, right? What if you shifted your approach? Instead of panicking, focus on being excellent at what you do. Build meaningful connections, hone your skills, and trust that the right doors will open when they're meant to. This doesn't mean sitting back and doing nothing. It means acting with purpose and letting go of the need to control the outcome. Marcus Aurelius captured this perfectly in Meditations. Do what you must. And let what happens happen. Focus on your efforts, your discipline, your mindset, and let the results take care of themselves. So, how do you practice this in daily life? First, cultivate gratitude. Instead of fixating on what's missing, focus on what's already here. Maybe it's a skill you've developed, a supportive friend, or a lesson you've learned. When you appreciate what you have, you attract more of it. Try this. Each morning, write down one thing you're grateful for. It's like watering the seeds of abundance in your life. Second, act as if you already have enough. Move through the world with confidence, knowing opportunities are everywhere. This mindset shifts your energy from lack to possibility. Finally, release attachment. Trust that what's meant for you will come, not through force, but through alignment with your actions and beliefs. Let's make it real. Imagine you're working toward a big goal, a promotion, a creative project, a new relationship. You've been pouring in effort, but the results aren't showing up yet. The desperate part of you wants to push harder, control every detail, panic over delays. But what if you trusted your work was enough? What if you focused on showing up fully, doing your best, and letting the rest unfold? That's aligned action. It's like sailing a boat. You steer with intention, but you trust the wind to carry you. The Stoics understood that true power lies in mastering yourself, not the world around you. No matter how much you plan or push, some things will always be beyond your control, other people's choices. Life's timing, unexpected twists. The more you resist that truth, the more stressed you become. But when you shift your focus from chasing to aligning, from forcing to flowing, everything starts to fall into place. It's not about giving up, it's about trusting that your efforts, combined with life's natural rhythm, will lead you where you're meant to be. Here's how to start today. First, get clear on your goal and take purposeful steps. Prepare, learn, act. Second, let go of the need to control when or how the results show up. Accept that timing isn't always up to you. Third, trust in your resilience. Even if things don't go as planned, you'll adapt, grow, and find new opportunities. Life isn't about controlling every outcome, it's about mastering your response to it. So, take a deep breath and ask, what's one step I can take today with purpose? Not panic? That small shift can change everything. Thanks for sticking with me. In the comments, share one goal you're working on and how you'll trust the process. If this resonated, hit that like button and subscribe for more insights to help you live with clarity and calm. Want to dive deeper into Stoic wisdom? Check out the video on the screen now, it'll take you even further. See you in the next one.